Jesus and Muhammad. There is another proof that the God of the Christians and the God of Islam are different. That would be a comparison of Jesus and Muhammad, which we're going to do right now. Christians know that Jesus is fully man and fully God, but Muslims say that Jesus is a prophet like Muhammad. Jesus, the Bible tells us that Jesus was in existence before the beginning of the universe in John 1, verse 1, and Genesis 1, verse 1. But Islam tells us that Muhammad kept hearing voices, and his wife told him it must be an angel and he must be a prophet. And the Bible tells us that Jesus was the creator of all things in Colossians 1, verse 16. Muhammad was a human being who created nothing. And the Bible tells us that Jesus is fully God and fully man, while Islam tells us that Muhammad claimed to be a prophet. The Bible tells us Jesus raised the dead to life in Luke 7, verses 12 through 15. But Muhammad raised no one, but he had a lot of people killed. And then again, we see that Jesus forgave everyone that confessed their sins, and he still does. Muhammad didn't forgive anyone. Jesus never lied. Hebrews 4, verse 15, and chapter 9, verse 28. On the other hand, Muhammad told many lies and taught others to lie. Jesus permitted man to have one wife. Muhammad permitted up to 4, and he himself was permitted 12 or more. Jesus warned of false prophets in Matthew chapter 7, verses 15 through 17. And Muhammad gave false prophecies. Jesus walked on water, Matthew 14, verse 25. Muhammad walked on the blood of the people he slaughtered. Jesus didn't kill anyone. Muhammad killed thousands. Jesus healed thousands. Muhammad didn't heal one person. Jesus never sinned. 2 Corinthians 5, verses 20 through 21. Muhammad sinned continuously. Jesus epitomized love, Mark 12, verse 31. Muhammad epitomized violence. Jesus sacrificed himself to save others, according to 1 Corinthians 15:3 and 2 Corinthians 15:15. Muhammad sacrificed others to save himself. Jesus is presently seated at the right hand of God, and Muhammad is presently in hell. Jesus didn't rob anyone. Muhammad robbed many people. Jesus rose from the dead and is alive today. Muhammad's body is still in the grave, and his soul and spirit are in hell. Jesus never married. Muhammad had over 20 wives and married one at the age of 9. Jesus performed many miracles, healed people, calmed a storm with a command, and raised people from the dead. Muhammad never performed a miracle. When Jesus heard from God, he went to the desert to be tempted and then began his ministry with boldness, according to Mark 1, verses 14 through 15. On the other hand, when Muhammad heard from God, supposedly through the angel Gabriel, he cowered, was uncertain, and wanted to commit suicide, according to Quran 74, 1 through 5. Jesus didn't have any slaves. Muhammad had many slaves. Excuse me. Jesus tells us that God loved everyone so much he gave his only begotten son, mentioned in John 3:16. But Muhammad tells us that Allah does not love those who do not surrender to Islam. That's in the Quran, 30, verse 45, and 3, verse 32, and 22, verse 38. Jesus said, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth, according to Matthew 5, verse 5. Muhammad said, O you who believe, fight those of the unbelievers who are near you, and let them find in you hardness, according to Quran 9, verse 123. Jesus was crucified. Muhammad advocated crucifying others, and that's in the Quran 5, verse 33. And Jesus didn't fight anyone. Muhammad said, I have been commanded to fight against people till they testify that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Muslim 133. Jesus preached forgiveness in Matthew 18, 21 through 22, and in chapter 5, verse 38. Muhammad murdered those who insulted him. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also, in Matthew 5, verse 39. And then in the Quran 2:194, it says, if anyone transgresses the prohibition against you, transgress you likewise against him. So that's just further proof that Jesus and Muhammad are direct opposites. Since this is true, there's no way a Christian God is the same as Allah. And there's no way you can merge the church with Islam. Thank you for listening.